Okay, so good afternoon once more, good evening, good morning, wherever you're calling from. It's a great day. It's the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. We as founders or affiliates, if you're new to the company, we should be very, very happy because things are happening, really happening fast. Last week, precisely on Thursday, we had an event with our CEO, right? He said we should call it Go Africa, right? Because he wants to show us some love. I think he was so excited about that event. You could see how relaxed he was. You could see that he came with a bunch of African corporate members. So he wanted to show us that Africans are important in OnPassive and they play key roles in OnPassive. So not only in the marketing arm, where we have leaders like us, all of us, right? But also in the corporate arm. And these guys play a key role. And Africa is well represented, not just sub-Saharan Africa. We have North Africans, we have East Africans, all over, in the corporate as well as in the marketing arm, meaning founders, affiliates. So I was very, very happy. I was really relaxed to see that. And I am sure each and every one of you, if you were there, you would have been relaxed as well. Okay? And yes, I would say it was a corporate event, okay? Because it was open to everybody, but particularly to address our issues, African issues. But remember, most of the issues that we have as Africans are not only unique to us, right? So a lot of other countries face the same kind of problems. So while he addressed it specifically to us, some people also benefit. Those other guys who were excited, were happy. So it was a great day to be an OnPassivian on that Thursday. Just the vibes. And yes, we had some issues where people came to the speaker link and all that stuff. And that the engineers are looking into that and to make sure everything is okay. I said, you know what? There was a time when we could even hear voices, in the background. And I said that's a necessary evil. It was a necessary evil. Because now the CEO goes back. You might remember he came out and said, oh, this is embarrassing. So he goes back and makes sure that doesn't happen again. I think God made that happen so that we can fix it before we go public, in my opinion. That's the way I look at it. It was a great thing, okay? Now, he touched on key things, right? I'm going to talk about just a few key things that he touched on. And then, so we can have a better understanding. Some people did not make it to that event. However, the first thing he talked about was data. I mean, internet access, data. That's very common in Africa. Not just in Africa, all over, but, it's more prevalent in Africa because of our economic situation, right? So already, our new OCONNECT is less data intensive like the old one, okay, as compared to the old one. Already, we've seen that. We have people that have testified to that. However, that's not enough because guess what? At OnPassive, we always over-deliver, okay? So right now, the engineering team, they are working on another version that's going to be at least one quarter. It's going to need one quarter this energy or the data or the resources that we do need at the moment, right? So it's going to be so much better. It's going to be 4 times better than what we have in terms of data. And they're doing this relentlessly. So not too long from now, and remember, they have this OCONNECT out, okay, and they're continuously behind the scenes, okay, upgrading, making changes, making it better, and then uploading to the systems. It's transparent to us, okay? So, but if you are in Africa, just make sure you always download the latest app, the latest OCONNECT app, because that is where it's going to reflect so you can be able to participate in all these webinars. So yes, they are thinking about us. Now remember, internet connection, bandwidth is not our business. We are not an internet service provider. So we cannot have, say, to African countries and give you guys internet service. What we can do as a company, or what a company can do for us, is get applications that are less resource intensive that do not consume as much data. And that is what they are doing behind the scenes. That is what they've promised us. And they're going to make sure it happens, okay? Now, the other thing he talked about was OVERIFY, right? Know your customer, KYC. We have our own. And what they're doing is they're making sure it is very, very simple. Very, very simple. It's going to take your face. You're going to have to take your ID. And then you're going to take your picture and your ID to make sure that the face that you had and the ID that you had matches, okay? What we want to do is let all our founders, especially those of you who are engaged, know that we are going to be there for you. We are going to show you how to use OVERIFY in case you're having difficulty, right? We're going to hold your hand. No one is going to be left behind. Once it is done, what I normally do, I will test it out. I will do it myself to make sure I understand the process. Have a few other leaders do the same like me. And then we're going to come out here and show you how to do it so that nobody is left behind. The one thing he has done, he has promised us that everyone will get verified. They're not just trying to keep people behind. They're trying to make sure you are who you say you are. He understands that in Africa, the identification might be difficult. In some countries, they have what they call receipt or reciprocity, like in Cameroon, where I just came from. Okay, all of those things will be sorted out. So because it is not the regular ID that we have, like in the United States, in some other Western countries, guess what? The system, the company understands all that. And I believe that's one of the reasons the CEO has surrounded himself with very good, intelligent Africans with integrity so that they can help build a system that we all need to succeed, okay? Now, the other thing he touched on, a few people were worried about what happens if I die? What happens to my account, okay? So yes, there's gonna be a way for you to transfer that account. Now, normally, most of us fall victim to this, myself included, we tend not to put a living will, right? We need to have a living will because something happens to you suddenly, which is possible, they're going to know where to direct your funds. However, they are not interested in keeping your funds. They want to make sure it goes to whom you want, okay? The person that you want. But you're going to have to help the company know that person. They're going to have to put a process in place very soon, which clearly identifies the steps that we need to take in order to transfer that money or that account to your loved ones, okay? So that's coming. Now, the most important thing I want to talk about is the money because he mentioned it, okay? And I know that's why a lot of people don't even show up. Most people are kind of discouraged because, like I said earlier, they want quick money. This is not a quick money-making scheme. This is generational wealth, okay? And so they're going to take their time. Now, remember, guys, we had a couple of merchants that messed us up. We all know that. We all should be familiar with that. Now, these merchants, of course, the CEO said they went to court. You know, the things took longer than they expected. However, these merchants had in place a policy where they have to keep your money for 6 months, right? And that's 6 months from the time they stopped taking payments, which they didn't want to continue to do because they didn't want to be taking payments when they cannot pay us. Right? That's not our style. That's not OnPassive style. So they stopped it, well, sometime in October. So that 6 months is due to happen or due to end. Once that happens, guess what? In a matter of days from now, because he said we are still on track for the end of this month. So end of this month is in a couple of days, right? Now, so that means anytime from now, it could be tomorrow, it could be Tuesday, it could be Wednesday, Thursday, any one of these days, we are going to see those pending payments. So if you ever had a withdrawal, those of you who already have pending payments, that's the first thing that's going to happen. The pending payments will be taken care of, okay? And then we have products that are ready. They are ready for the market. But strategically, they're going to make sure those pending payments are taken care of, which means that we have some merchants are already in the works, okay? And once that is done, those products will be released one after the other. And he said, if things go well, on or before the 15th of May, we should have some news. We should have some things that are going to make us happy all the way through the end of the year. So I think that's enough good news for me to celebrate, to be in a celebratory mood. I think that's enough good news for all of us to get our fellow founders to come and join us as we get to this very, very important milestone of OnPassive. All right? I'm going to stop the recording now so that we can take questions and or comments.